Friday, July 16th, the moon is going to be in Libra all day, 7 different aspects throughout the day. But here's the exciting thing. We are now moving into the stage of manifestation where we are given the green light go from the universe, from the cosmos, to go ahead and take action. We are actually building up to our first quarter moon that will be taking place tomorrow. But we're in Libran energy. We're building to that. We're still striving to find peace and balance and harmony. How? Through seeing the extremes in the way that we've been thinking, feeling, and living. So right out of the gate, we have the moon semi-squaring Venus, and Venus actually rules over Libran energy. So this is kind of a confidence booster, if you will. The moon in Libra, who wants to keep things light and fluffy, who wants to find balance, who wants to find peace, who wants to find harmony, doesn't really agree with Venus at this particular point because Venus is in Leo. She wants to have fun. She wants to throw herself in the extreme of throwing caution to the wind because she has been weighted down by caution and responsibility for far too long. Venus in Leo wants to dream the biggest, grandest dream possible. They don't want to find reality in that. They want to adhere to the best case scenario. Venus in Leo wants to just let her hair down, wants to be flirty, wants to be fun. And although that Libran energy is light and fluffy and fun too, there's no balance to be had when you're living in that fiery, extreme energy of Leo. It's passion, it's desire. And we just created a brand new reality. So realistically speaking, we want to kind of run with the energy, run with the fire, right? And so we might be a little bit conflicted because, yeah, we want to find peace, but right now we're having too much fun to find a grounding point. We really don't care. So the moon recognizes that we're probably not going to gain much ground with Venus in Leo and moves on and has an aspect with Uranus. Uranus, again, the great awakener, the aha moment, the shake things up, the wild card energy, just really wants, the moon in Libra to see where it is that, and again, this is perspective changing, this is our higher self, where it is absolutely necessary and absolutely a requirement right now to throw caution to the wind. May I remind you that we're having to fly by the seat of our pants right now. And this might not bode very well for finding peace and balance and a grounding point that our emotions want us to find. However, when things are going good, you run with it, right? When things have been bad and heavy and weighted for so long, then suddenly you get this break. You don't want it to end. You want to just ride that wave until there's no riding it anymore. So the Uranian energy just wants us to see the bigger, broader perspective on maybe why it's okay right now to be living in that extreme, to be following the passion and the desire, that maybe you're going to have to be content with not being content right now. Maybe you need to find peace with not having peace right now, because peace only comes when you're comfortable and when you're content. And right now we're initiating a brand new cycle. There's no peace in that other than the fact that you're honoring yourself and you're empowered by following your calling. But we're not going to find a grounded, happy middle ground right now because we're, balls to the walls. We need to follow this energy. We need to just ride this wave until we can't ride it anymore. So Venus in Leo goes ahead and bumps into Neptune retrograde in Pisces, which of course, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. She is the spiritual self of Venus. And Venus in Leo is very passionate about just like enjoying the physicality of this realm. So that might mean that you're either all up on self-love. Maybe you're getting your hair done. Maybe it's a self-love day. Maybe you're in a new, romantic situation where the physical touching, the physical sensations are all that you want to be in. Maybe you're diving into having a comfy, cozy girls' night where you're just all throwing yourself into food and just indulging into the creature comforts of this realm. Having a great time. Again, Venus in Leo, just having a great time. But Neptune in Pisces, especially retrograde, is just saying, okay, you realize that this can't last forever. You realize that when you crash, it's probably going to hurt. And Venus and Leo, again, caution of the wind. We don't care. We're just having fun. Like girls just want to have fun. That song comes to my mind when I think of this aspect, because Venus doesn't care about the repercussions of her actions right now as long as she's having fun. Her heart is happy. Her head is happy. She's enjoying the moment. She's enjoying the physical environment in which she's in right now. Again, she had a lot going on this week. She gave birth to a brand new cycle here, a brand new reality. She's riding the wave. She's having fun with it. And Neptune, although is trying to highlight for us where it is that, things are probably going to get messy and you're probably not going to be able to escape the consequences of your current actions right now. However, as long as you're having fun and as long as you're listening to your intuition on this, your gut reaction and honoring your emotions, I can't really have a whole lot to say about that. So the moon in Libra comes back into play and trines the true node and trines Saturn. Now this is going to be a quick reminder to us because again, we're kind of, fancy free at this point. We need a little bit of a reminder of the end goal, the end vision. Sometimes, although, it's favorable right now to be in the present moment, not thinking about the greater, grander picture. If you're constantly in the present moment day after day, nothing gets done. We don't plan for the future. And that's, I hate to deviate and go on a rant here, but in my personal sessions, when I do one-on-one counseling with people that require my guidance, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people live in the present moment, whether on autopilot or, just consciously. They just want to get through the day. They just want to cross the things off the list that's required of them for the day. And that is a trauma response. That is a survival and coping mechanism. When we have had situations in the past that are bad, that are not favorable, that we're literally suffering through, the best thing that we can do is just get through the minute, just get through the hour, just get through the day. And it's exhausting to go to bed at night and to recognize that you made it through another day. And it's even more exhausting to wake up the next day and realize that you got to do it all over again. The problem with that is that when you are constantly living in the moment, when you are constantly just trying to get through the day-to-day life, you never take the opportunity to think about 5 years from now. And what you'll notice is, and what I've even noticed in my own path of healing and recovery, is that when you live in the moment, when you're only consciously aware about getting through the day, you live the same day over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Why? Because you don't grant yourself the possibility, the opportunity to think that long term, you could have a dream, you could have a goal. Why is that scary for people? Because a lot of the time it leads to disappointment. A lot of the time we get defeated. A lot of the time we get beat down. We never get to that end goal. So in our mental plane, we've adopted the fact that it's better not to think long term. It's better not to think about the hopes and dreams and goals that we have because we don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to be defeated. So instead, we put the blinders on. We only think about this present moment and this present day. And what that gets us is the exact same day every single day for the rest of our lives. And that should be far scarier than ever thinking about the possibilities of the opportunities that could be that we need to work towards. So I digress, but I felt that that was needed to be said because at this particular moment, we're reminded, yes, of the future, of the dream, of the vision that we have to be pouring into, that big picture snapshot that we constantly need to be having in order to break down what it is that we can do in our day-to-day life and our habits and our thinking and our ways of just being that could best align us with the dream, with the vision that we are absolutely going to manifest. But then the moon bumps into Saturn. And of course, Saturn wants to remind us of all the boundaries and all the walls and all the blockages and yada, yada, yada. And we just do not have time for it because, again, the moon in Libra wants to keep things light and fluffy. We really don't have the time, the energy, the effort to dive into all of the deeper, sensitive topics, the karmic topics that Saturn wants us to talk about. So just as we're running away from the Lord of Karma, the moon in Libra sits across from Chiron, who is now retrograde. This is the first interaction that Chiron retrograde is having. And the moon in Libra, of course, wants us to find peace, balance, harmony within ourselves. But here's the thing, Libra energy is very much about the team, very much about the group, very much about the collective. Arian energy, which Chiron is currently retrograde in, is about me, I, the individual. So another conflict is coming up within us here because we want to keep things light and fluffy. However, Chiron retrograde is anything but light and fluffy, is kind of showing us where our emotional wounds are in the form of extreme situations taking place in our life, extreme emotions that are coming up within us, extreme thoughts that we are having. And why? Because we have to find balance. Chiron, although is the wounded healer, he shows us the wound, but he shows us how to heal them. How do we heal them? We find balance, we find peace, we find harmony. And of course, the moon in Libra goes ahead and aspects Uranus again, which gives us a higher octave, a higher perspective, that aha moment that shifts our perspective on where it is that we can find peace and harmony in the moment of living in extremes. You can be living in extremes right now, still find peace and harmony within you. And it's going to be a tough love life lesson. And it's likely going to disrupt our routine. It's going to manifest in a conversation out of a personal relationship that really triggers us wanting to stay light and fluffy, but of course requires us to talk about the deep emotions, the heartfelt emotions, the heartfelt thoughts, the extreme ways of thinking, feeling, and living that we've been doing. And just in that moment, we get saved by the nick of time because Mars makes an aspect with the true node. Mars sees in the corner of his eye where the moon in Libra is failing to stay light and fluffy, to stay happy, to stay jovial. And Mars in Leo, the warrior himself, the proud lion king of the jungle, gets a picture of the future, of the goal, of the path that we are walking in and walking towards, and takes another move forward. This is a great thing because the energy is building to the first quarter moon, which is a crisis point. It's a tension point where we have to break down in order to break through. The greatest change comes out of pain and suffering and the want, need, and desire to not have the similar experience in which we've been living. So Mars kind of saves the day, takes an action, makes a move, and then the moon in Libra makes an aspect with Jupiter, which is like, oh my goodness, did you see Mars do that just then? Holy crap, I didn't think we were ever going to be able to move away from that topic, especially, getting all caught up with Chiron there. I thought we were really going to have to dive into the fields, into the deep end. I thought we were going to have to, unpack some emotional baggage from our childhood. I am so glad that Mars made that move and now we don't have to even go into that conversation. And Jupiter is like, good. So you see where growth took place. You see where we expanded our mind, our situation, our heart space. You see that extreme move that Mars just made in this present moment is actually giving you a sense of peace. And the sun chimes in and semi-squares the true node. And the sun, again, in Cancer, wrapping up its time in Cancer. So the pressure is really on to nurture ourselves, to start pouring into ourselves, to implement and enforce those boundaries. And the sun, for the first time, is reaching this little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a crisis point with the true node here, saying, okay, I am ready to make this large leap into the future. I am ready to start building this very strong foundation that the initial building blocks have been put down, but I'm ready now. I see the plans. I see where it is that we're, ready to empower ourselves to move forward. I'm ready to do this. And just as that happens, our day shifts into night. We are going to bed and we are prepared upon waking Saturday morning for a huge dramatic shift to take place. I'll give you the disclaimer now. Not only Are we moving towards the first quarter moon, which is always a tension point? It's always a crisis point, especially considering the amount of energy, the realizations, and what was illuminated for us at the new moon in Cancer. This is like our first set of challenges. This is our first blockage. This is our first situation arising that is really going to test us. Can we walk the walk? Can we talk the talk? This is the first time since the new moon, since our new realization, since our new boundaries, since our new ways of advocating for ourselves, the first time that we're actually going to get it put in motion, right? In our physical realms, we have an opportunity to stand up and to advocate for ourselves. Are we going to take it?